Okay, hello, welcome. This is Herman Astwijk, and welcome to our second Hangout. And we're going to continue our series about PACS administration careers. And we're happy to have Dan Nepper with us tonight and talk about this exciting subject. Welcome, Dan. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Excellent. Dan, I think it would be good to start out a little bit about telling a little bit to the audience about your careers and how you got involved with PACS administration and in and out and moved between jobs and what are so many opportunities. Go ahead.
Sure. I actually started a little bit over 25 years ago as an X-ray technologist. I went to X-ray school and became a radiographer. Mm-hmm. And immediately after that, I did go on and get my bachelor's degree in business administration and marketing. I wasn't quite sure what direction I wanted to take my career in at that point.
Yeah.
And I did general radiology and CT for 4 or 5 years. The economy wasn't great when I got out of X-ray school, so I thought I would just stay in the hospital environment and learn as much as I could. Mm-hmm. And I actually came across a position to install radiology information systems.
Okay.
So that was kind of my first break into IT. Okay. And you know, I understood the radiology workflow, and that's what was important to the company. And they said they would teach me everything I needed to know from the IT side.
Okay,
good. So that worked out really well. I did that for about 6 years or so. Mm-hmm. And the second company that I worked for actually did PACS as well as radiology information systems. So I learned a lot about PACS then. And I held a variety of positions with the second company. I moved into a marketing role, so I did system demonstrations for a while. I actually moved into a sales role, selling the RIS and the PACS as well.
Which one did you like the best? Which one did you like the best? Like sales, marketing, technical support?
I think I actually liked sales. It was the thrill of the deal.
Okay,
and,
good.
You know,
cool.
Capturing that new business, and it's kind of the same way with being a PACS system administrator, and the role that I played in implementation was the thrill of taking a system live.
Okay, cool. Okay, and then after those vendors, you came back and to the provider side, right?
That's correct. Yes. After about 7 years of traveling a lot and just getting a little bit burnout on that side of things, I did move back into the provider side, and I was responsible for radiology informatics at the facility that I was at. It was a fairly large teaching institution, and we did support and implementation for not only the PACS, but for the radiology system and the voice recognition system and the cardiology system and several different systems all related to radiology.
I'm sure you had some help there, correct?
I did. I had 3 people that were responsible to me and really helping run the day-to-day operations at these different facilities because we had multiple hospitals at our environment.
Just curious, were those people IT or technical, and did you report to radiology or IT?
You know, it's interesting because they actually all came out of radiology. Wow, and they were all X-ray technologists and understood, much like I did, understood the radiology workflow, and they all had an aptitude to be able to pick up IT technology very quickly.
Sure. But you were reporting to IT, is that correct? Or not?
Yes. Yeah, we all reported into IT. They had sort of a dotted line reporting structure back into the radiology administrators, and they provide feedback on their performance to me and things of that nature.
Yeah. But now you're back at a vendor, right? Since the last year or so, correct?
Yes. About 2 years ago, after being 7 years of PACS administration and working with some other systems that we'll probably talk about in a little while, I decided to actually go with a company that does contracting for imaging equipment for their hospitals.
Yeah. So was it hard to switch back? You made the transition 2 times, I guess, back and forth. Was it hard? Was it a big difference?
There's always differences in culture when you move from facility to facility, or especially from a provider side to a corporate culture.
Sure.
But I was always really careful to make sure it was a good fit and that I wasn't getting in over my head. I think that's important when you're trying to move
Oh
from
yeah.
job to job to make sure you really understand what you're getting into and what the expectations are going to be.
Yeah. But did you see the advantages, or I would say maybe the pros and cons on looking either on the provider or on the vendor side?
Yep. I think if you like travel, certainly being on a vendor side, you will most likely get to do quite a bit of travel.
Yeah.
And I think that was a pro at the beginning for me. Toward the end, it wasn't so much of a pro, so it can be a
Yeah.
pro and a con. Um, One of the other things is you get to work on many different projects at once. You probably aren't going to be working on just one PACS installation if you're on the vendor side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to be going into multiple hospitals. They're going to be in multiple stages of implementation, and you're always going to have that next project going live. So it's interesting if you like to juggle multiple projects.
Yeah. So you think it would be more challenging or not on the
Uh, I
vendor
think
side?
I
Yeah.
think it's definitely a little bit more challenging because everyone you work with is going to have their own nuances and their own workflows that they want you to help implement. And you're always walking that line between, this is what I found, between what sales sold the customer and what
Sure.
product development can deliver.
Oh yeah, and that's a challenge. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, let's say there's a PACS administrator listening to this and they said, I wouldn't mind trying, getting my feet wet a little bit and try a career change and getting to the vendor. So what are some of the recommendations that you would give him? What would he or she do?
Well, I would definitely be tuned into reading publications. There's a lot of publications out there that are free,
Sure.
on ampmini.com and imaging economics and advanced radiology. There's so many different sources of information.
Uh-huh.
It's almost information overload sometimes.
Sure.
But I think you have to be forward thinking and know what the industry trends are and where things are
Oh,
moving.
so you really need to keep up with what's going on. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
And maybe visiting some of the conferences might help and talking with some of the vendors and see what products out there.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Going to conferences and getting involved in the educational series that they have is
Hmm.
definitely a good thing to do. RSNA, as you know, is definitely a great place to be.
Yeah.
SIM is also a good one to go to.
Uh, do you see something coming up in the next 5 or 10 years that you think that might be the next big hottest thing in hospital IT and imaging and IT? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we definitely saw it where I was. There were administrators for the laboratory systems and the pharmacy systems and all of the different systems, especially EMR, as
Right.
hospitals are implementing
Right.
electronic medical records.
So so if you would be if I would be a PACS administrator, I would try to figure out what is the EMR that I'm using. Can I get involved in training and things like that? Is that something that you would recommend or?
Yes, yes. If you're looking to make a career change, I would definitely try to get on new and different projects.
Okay.
Volunteer yourself for something like that. Show that you have the eagerness and the ability to learn and pick up other systems. And, it's really not that difficult of a transition. Information is
No?
information.
Yeah. And I think you did some level tour yourself, correct?
I
You
did.
could, yeah, and you found it, you didn't find it hard.
No, if you're able to speak well and write well and document processes well, it really translates over from information system to information system. They all have tables that drive the information. Every system has workflow that you can learn, how the users have to use the systems. Um, Now, I would say, I had subject matter experts from the laboratory that
Sure.
helped a lot.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, as a kind of a final note, any suggestions for PACS administrators that think, well, what should they be doing? What would you recommend?
Well, I would say, keep your resumes up to date. A lot of us just dust them off when we're to look for a job and maybe when we're not expecting to have to look for a job. So
Sure.
it's always good to keep that up, list your accomplishments. And if you're trying to move and sort of not be typecast as a PACS administrator, you can always generalize a lot of your accomplishments. Say, I did a project that did X, Y, Z. You don't have to necessarily tie it always into PACS.
Oh, so for example, if you look for an opportunity in lab or EMR or things, project management is project management, and healthcare IT is healthcare IT, and workflow is workflow. That's probably what you're saying, correct?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So that means that PACS administrators should be well positioned because they're so well rounded. They have so much exposure to such a variety of subjects that they should have good opportunities. Do
Yes.
you agree with that?
I would. I think, and I'm a little biased, but I think PACS
Sure.
administrators are the cream of the crop. They are complex systems to manage and have a lot more dependencies on the network and things like that, and interfaces from system to system than some other systems I've worked with.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Herman.
Yeah, and then and a final, I don't want to leave you out without the audience telling that join us at Google Plus and for the next Hangout and check out our YouTube. There's a lot of information if we talk about the need for education and to stay current. Look at our blogs, but also particularly on YouTube, there's several educational videos and presentations. Thank you for your time. Take care.